video, and thank you for joining me or stopping by to watch my Throwback Thursday. It is unfortunately Saturday morning in which I am recording this. Excuse me, so I apologize for being late. It's been a very figure as soon as I start my video, I gotta start clearing my throat. So just bear with me for a second here. I'm just taking my phone and just kind of leveling it out so everything looks good. And I'm looking at my screen on my laptop, just make sure everything's good. So again, thank you so much everybody for stopping by. This is my Throwback Thursday video. However, it is Saturday morning in which I am filming it. It's been a crazy work week. So yeah, this was my opportunity to do this. Now it is Saturday, like I said. Friday, I didn't have my Friday night. I didn't do my Friday night live last night because, again, work was kind of busy this week. So getting the projects together and all that just didn't, I just couldn't get it done. But what I'm going to be doing is tonight, this is Saturday, March 28th at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be going live and I will be featuring the Easter Joy Suite. So the cute bunnies and the chicks and all that, we're going to be doing that tonight. So if you're watching this beforehand, then hope to see you later on. Okay, so for this Throwback Thursday, why am I like this? Hold on. Every time I go and record, this is what happens. Hold on. I don't know why I end up with a scratchy throat every time I go to do this. So, for this Thursday, I'm bringing in a whole suite of product that we had a few years ago. I want to say, was it in 2023? Most of it had retired, however, the stamp set and the set of dies had carried on for quite a while. So, what we are going to be using is the Rain or Shine Suite collection. So, in this collection, there is the Playing in the Rain Cling stamp set. So, this is our red rubber ink. Not red rubber ink. Oh my gosh, our red rubber stamps. It's too early. I have not had coffee yet, so I apologize if I call things by the wrong thing. So anyway, Playing in the Rain bundle. You got the Cling stamp set. So this is our red rubber stamps. You have your images of a turtle, a fox, and a bunny. And you got some flowers and clouds, along with some raindrops. And then two greetings in here: rainy days are better with you, and oh, happy day. Along with the stamp set, there is also the Playing in the Rain set of dies. So you have the dies to cut out those stamped images. Plus, there's a couple of other little detailed dies in here as well. So you got some grass that is in, or stems for flowers in different directions. You got a tree stump. There's a fence, some little bows that you can put on your kite, and a little umbrella. So, and a little couple of butterflies too. So a lot of different things you can do with this. And there is, of course, going to be some coloring involved. Also, these are the loose daisy embellishments. So these are very flat. They are kind of like, way to describe them, they're almost like, um, kind of like they're a little bit rubbery, or maybe they're like clay, but very, very thin. So they're not going to add any bulk to your card. And then these, um, Well, they're saying that they're 5 millimeter. However, there are a couple of different sizes in here because I did see like some smaller ones in here as well. So that's the embellishments with this. And I think is, oh, then there is the Raindrops embossing folder. So this is just a regular embossing folder. This isn't a 3D one. So embossing folder. And then last but not least, there is the Rain or Shine Specialty Designer Series paper. So in this paper, it does have, let me get it out here. So you have two sheets where you have like your scene of the sky with some clouds and then some grass with flowers. Now what's special about this paper is, I don't know if you can see it on here, but these clouds are actually like they're like glossy, like almost they're embossed. And then you have these images too that you could see there's kind of like a little shiny there. And so when I took the picture for my thumbnail for this video, the way the light hit it, it looks like his shell is white and yellow, but it's actually old olive. And then on the other side, you have some prints, got some raindrops here, and the flat, background type designs for the back. And then we have this one here with the raindrops. Now, what's pretty cool about this is that, again, this came out back in 2023. However, the blue that's in here is Balmy blue. But when you look at some of the shading in here, again, it's Balmy blue, but it's going to have different shades of Balmy blue in here. But when you take this and you put it up against cloud cover matches it pretty well. And then that's the back of that one. And then we have some umbrellas. Now there's no die. Well, there's one die that'll die cut this umbrella here. And I don't think that one. But yeah, the other umbrellas, you would have to fussy cut that. And some bright. Now, this paper has Mango Melody in it. Mango Melody was a color that they retired probably a couple of years ago. Uh, and it's a nice bright orangey yellow. And I was pretty sad when they retired that color, but we are definitely going to be using it in our second card today. So let me bring out the pieces and we'll get started with our first card. So let me just dump this right here. Okay, so with this card, I have for my card base a piece of basic white thick that measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. I have a piece of cloud cover, and I'll kind of compare it. It'll work very well. So like this grayish part of the balmy blue, you can see it matches really, really well. So this piece of cloud cover measures 5.25 by 4, and I had embossed this. Now on the embossing folder, you can see like the raindrops are coming straight down. What I did with my cardstock, let me show you what I did here. I open it up. I turned it upside down, and then how did I do this? I stuck my cardstock in here at an angle, and when I embossed it, then when I have it straight, it looks like the rain is coming down at an angle. So there's that. And then I have a piece of that Rain or Shine Designer Series paper. This measures 4 by 1 3/4. And then ahead of time, I had punched out with Old Olive cardstock. This is a 2 3/8 inch circle. So that is not that one. It is this punch right here. So the 2 3/8 inch circle punch is still available. And then out of basic white, I punched out another one using the 2-inch circle punch. And then out of the designer series paper, since there's no die to die cut it, I fussy cut one of the images in there. So again, when you look at the picture on the thumbnail, it looks like that his shell is white and the mango melody. However, it was just the glare of the light on it. It's actually old olive and mango melody. All right, so let's take our card base and we're going to fold and burnish this. Okay, then I'm going to bring in my liquid glue. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to kind of move things so I can get this stuff. All right, bring in my liquid glue. And I'm going to add this to my card base. This is the Tombow multi-purpose glue that I have in one of these fine tip glue bottles. That Tombow glue, it does have a latex in it, so you don't need much of it at all to have your stuff really stick well. So because you don't need that much, I put it in that fine tip bottle. And now I got a whole package, I think of 10 of these off of Amazon. I don't have like any affiliate link at all, but I do have the link below under the non-Stampin' Up supplies. Okay, so we have that there. Then I'm going to take my designer series paper and add some glue to here. And then I'm going to find, or try to find, somewhere close to the middle here. I just eyeball it. And this paper is going to be the same width as the cloud cover. Make sure I got that straight. And then just kind of press that down. I'm going to take a block and I'm going to put that on there just to hold it down so it dries a little bit. Okay, so then I'm going to take my circle here and I'm going to grab, let's see, a piece of scrap paper. And I also want, hold on, I got things falling out of my drawers here. I'm going to bring in, well, no, I don't need that. This is not photopolymer. Just bring this in because I'm going to be stamping off on this a little bit. Okay, so then what I'm going to stamp on here is there's the raindrops and then there's this little like puddle right here. So I'm going to bring that in and a little puddle. And then also for this one, I'm going to bring in the greeting that says rainy days are better with you. So let me get, so what I want to do with my raindrops, I want them to kind of come down at an angle. So I think I need to do it this way so it kind of matches the same direction as what I did with the embossing folder. All right, so I got these at an angle. So when I go to stamp this, I'm just going to have my block being straight like this, and then my raindrops will be at an angle. And I'm going to stamp those, excuse me, in cloud cover ink. Now, cloud cover is is a fairly new ink color. And for some reason, the ink did not work well with the foam ink pad. So so they had to retire the ink pad. So what they suggested was a cloud cover re-inker along with one of our little unink spots. Our unink spots are felt pads. So it works well with that. There was just something about the ink and the foam that just wasn't working well. When you would stamp it, it wouldn't have like that bluish gray color. It looked more like smoky slate. So yeah, so that's why we don't have a full size pad on that. All right, so I'm going to put my puddle of water stamp on there, and then I'm going to get another block and I'm going to put my greeting on there. All right, so on here, I'm going to, what do I want? I feel like I'm completely lost. And it's probably because it's morning time and I haven't had my coffee quite yet. So that's probably why. All right, so I'm going to get my little puddle here. And I'm going to actually stamp this kind of like twice. So I'm going to stamp one here and then one right underneath it, like so. All right, I can close that up. And then get my cloud cover ink, ink up my raindrops. And then again, I'm going to hold the block straight and my raindrops are going to be at an angle. And over here. Okay, and then I'm not going to worry about this spot here because my turtle is going to be right over that. So I'll close this up. And somewhere here I got my Stampin' Chamois. Let me clean these really quick. A little squeaking. Oops, and of course the stamps come off the block. Okay. All right, so then we're going to do a little bit of coloring of these puddles. So I'm going to bring in my light Balmy blue and just color those in. Okay. Then I'm going to take my basic white circle and I'm going to glue it onto my old olive. Let that kind of get to the middle. Tear that down. And then I'm going to take my turtle and I'm going to put some dimensionals on him. Close up my glue. Well, no, I'm going to need that. All right, dimensionals. Okay. All right, then I'm going to have this kind of straight, have my puddle straight down on the bottom. And then I'm going to take my turtle and I want to place him like so. Yeah, the glare of the light actually, see it kind of, you don't see the green. That's how the thumbnail is going to look on the video, but it is what it is. You're seeing what the card really looks like. Okay, so then I'm going to just kind of place that there for a moment. Then, you know what I didn't pull out? I didn't pull out a scrap piece of basic white. Hold, please. Let's see. This over. I pulled out a scrap piece when I made the sample card, but then didn't cut an extra piece to do my cloud. All right, so I got my greeting, and I'm going to stamp this in my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Basically, our white uninked pads, our foam pads, I just inked it up with the Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I find that it's kind of equivalent to if you had stamped this using StazOn ink, the jet black. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp this right here, like so. And then a punch that we had a while back that has now since retired is, where is it? Is the cloud punch. So we're going to pull this in and line up our greeting in here and then punch that out. Okay, then let's bring this in. We're going to bring in our dimensionals again. And we're going to take our cloud and we're going to place this right up here. Make sure my greeting's straight. Okay, and then we're going to take this piece here and we're going to glue this down. And place that right there. Take that block and we'll hold that down for a second. All right, so for my embellishments on this, I'm not going to use those loose daisy embellishments. Instead, I'm going to bring in these. These were the For Everything Fancy sequins. So there's a collection of blue, green, and pink. So with this, I'm going to bring in the blue. So you can see there's a lot of different like bits and pieces that are in here. So you got some iridescent like white frosted sequins, and you got some hexagon type of sequins, and then there's like these little itty bitty bits and things like that in it. And then there was also a green collection, and then also pink. So I'm going to use the blue on this one. Get that in there. Okay, so I'm going to take some of these and I'm going to put them in the lid. And there's also like these flat backed pearls in here as well. All right, so I'm going to take that off. I'm going to add a drop of glue right up here. And then I'll add 2 drops right there. Okay, and then I'm going to get my Take Your Pick tool. Take that off. Let me get... Okay, so I want... Ooh, what do I want? I want one of these larger frosted blue ones. Now these sequins do have the holes in the center of them. Okay, and then there are these light blue ones that are kind of iridescent. Oh, no, 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 stick down. And I don't want to stick down. Hopefully that's going to stay, or I may have to add more glue to it. And we have this one. I'm going to press that down into the glue. Okay. Let's dump. No. This is what happens. You do a video first thing in the morning and you don't have any coffee. I need coffee. Okay. Let's close that up so we do not have a huge mess with these. I don't think I have it any more on my fingers. Let's put that in there. Okay, so there is the first card. So even though, excuse me, even though there's no cloud cover in the color of the of the paper, excuse, I am so sorry. I don't know why I can't get through a video without having to like feel like I gotta clear my throat. I apologize. So again, cloud cover was not a color that was available at the time when this suite came out, but I think that the cloud cover worked pretty well with this particular print of this designer series paper. So there is our first card. And now let me bring in the stuff for our second. So be prepared for a lot of like brightness on this one. So Mango Melody. So Mango Melody, as you can see, is kind of like an orangey yellow color. Really like this color. One of the things that I was kind of sad about was that the Stampin' Blends in this color actually ended up retiring before the rest of the color did, you know, as far as cardstock and stuff. And I was pretty sad about it because, you know, I like this color. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to order another set of the Mango Melody blends before it was completely sold out and then gone for good. I do like this color. I wish they would bring it back. Okay, so for my card base, this is an 11 by 4¼ piece. This is scored at 2¾ and 5½. Then I have a piece of that Rain or Shine Designer Series paper. This measures 5¼ by 4. And then I have two more pieces of the patterns from that Designer Series paper. Each one of these measures 4 by 2½. Then I have a 4 by 3 piece of Mango Melody, and then a 3¾ by 2¾ inch piece of basic white. And then out of Balmy Blue, a scrap of Balmy Blue, I die cut the fence. And out of one of those stem pieces, so one goes in one direction, the other goes in the other. This is die cut out of Old Olive. And if you can see, it's kind of like embossed with these lines, so it looks like they're the stems of the flowers. So we're going to be using those loose daisies. And then ahead of time on basic white, I used the Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I stamped the bunny, die cut it, and we're going to color him in with some blends. So to start off, I'm going to take my card base. I'm going to fold it in half. And it wants to shift on me when I try to do that. I'll hold that down. Okay, let me get my bone folder and we'll give that a nice burnish. And then we're going to take this other score line and we're going to fold back our cardstock. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like when we're done. All right, so this piece of designer series paper, I'm going to glue this to the inside of my card. Okay, so place that like so. Okay, and then this pattern here, we're going to put it on this inside panel. And we'll kind of line that up. Like so. Now, I didn't do this on this one. Don't know why I didn't do it. But you can take a piece of basic white. After you have this piece on here on the front, you can take a piece of basic white to put on the inside where it's kind of hidden when the card is closed. And you can either stamp a greeting or you can write something in there. Okay, and then for the front flap, I'm going to take this pattern. So definitely a lot of Mango Melody on this card. And we'll add this to the front, like so. All right, and then we're going to take, let's put that aside. Now what I'm going to bring in is something that's new. This was something that was available, I want to say it was a couple of months ago, not too long ago. It was a joining incentive. So when you purchase the starter kit and um, became a demo, this was one of the things that was added into your starter kit for free. So it was nothing that no one had to add. It was just added to your kit. Well, now it's going well, not quite yet. So demonstrators were able to pre-order this before they had that promotion. So that's how I got one. Uh, in our upcoming May to August catalog, the Stampin' Positioner is going to be in there along with what you see here. So you got the platform, you got um, the clear plate, 2 magnets. Now the paper was not included when during that starter kit promotion, but now it's something that you will be able to purchase. So this is something that's coming. So what I did was I took my greeting that says "Oh Happy Day," and I had lined it up already on my plate, so I kind of left it there. I'm going to take my piece of basic white and I'm going to line this up with the 1-inch line here, and then up here you got these little pegs. So the grid paper is something that you can also get that's separate, and there's these little tiny holes at the top that it will actually just stay in place with those little tiny pegs. So I'm going to take the top of my cardstock, I'm going to just line it right up against that, and then I'm also going to line it up with this 1-inch line right here. And then I'm going to use my magnets to hold them down. What's nice, these magnets are in these little plastic like tab holders, so then it's easy to pick this up as well. All right, so then I'm going to take my what am I talking about? I can't, words are very hard. You know, whenever you turn the camera on and you're filming, it's bad enough that words are hard then, But when it's like early morning and you haven't had coffee yet, it's like it's just magnified. So maybe I can get through this and know what things are. So I'm gonna ink this up with my Memento Black, Tuxedo Black, and then turn it over, and then the two little holes here are gonna go right into the pegs like so. And then I'm just going to push this down. I'm just going to hold it for a little bit. I don't have to press down very hard. I just want to make sure that that ink is going to be on my card. So it does have like a little like a spring type of action to it. And there we go. There is my stamp greeting. Let me get my chamois. I'll clean this stamp really quick, and then take my chamois and clean my stamp. So again, this Stampin' Positioner tool will be available in May. I think it's May 5th that it'll be available. Okay, so there is our Oh Happy Day. And let me get this out of the way. Okay, and now we can finish assembling this. So let me just kind of air dry this a little bit. All right, and I'm going to adhere this to my Mango Melody Click piece. And I apologize if you can hear the noise from the apartment above me. Every time I go to film, they just like to be in this room. And when they move around up there, the ceiling ends up squeaking. And from when I've done my Friday Night Live, I've had people tell me, yeah, they can actually hear that. So if you hear that noise, that's what it is. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit of glue. Don't need much on this. And I'm going to add it to my fence. Be in the camera. Again, because there's a latex in this, you don't need much. All right. And then I'm going to place this about here. So I'm kind of lining up that post with the edge of my cardstock. And then I'm going to stick that down. I'm going to get, where's that big block I had? Right there. I'm going to take that, I'm just going to hold that down so it stays and it'll dry. Okay, so then I'm going to take my little stem piece here, and I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the back of this. And I'm going to place that right over here in this bottom left-hand corner. All right, so now we'll put that there. We'll let that sit for a minute, and then in the meantime, we will do some coloring with our blend. So I'm going to bring my paper back in here. And to color our bunny, we're going to use the light and dark lemon lime twist for his rain jacket. And then to color our bunny in, we're going to use the light and dark crumb cake. And then for his nose and for the inside of his ears, we're going to do light flirty flamingo. So I'm going to start with my dark crumb cake, and I'm going to add my shadow areas. So up here, do his ear. So yeah, tonight at originally I was gonna do my Friday night live was going to be done on Saturday, well this morning actually at 10:30. However, it was getting late last night and I just didn't have it in me, to get the three projects figured out. So it was just better instead of stressing myself out, and I just decided, you know what, let me just do it, early evening like I do my Friday night lives. Again, we're going to be using the Easter Joy. So that's that Easter suite that was in the January to April mini catalog. Now, the thing is, usually when I do my Friday night lives and stuff, I'm using all current product. However, recently, the uh, the set of dies to it, the one that does the basket and all, yeah, they went on the discontinue list along with the little embellishments that go with it as well. So those two items from that suite are gone. But I had already had this suite planned, well, at the beginning of the month. So you never know how long something is going to last. So with that, let me do mention that again, that mini catalog, the date on it, it goes to May 4th. However, we're at this point in time that as we're getting closer to that, some things, maybe they did order more ahead of time where it'll get here in time before that catalog actually retires. But then sometimes they may not be able to get the items in time. So, with that, basically what's in that mini catalog is pretty much going to be probably while supplies last. Now, there are a few items that are in that catalog that are kind of carrying over into this new catalog. Now, dark lemon lime twist, I'm going to do the shadows on the raincoat. So between like online exclusives and what do you call it? The online exclusives and what's in that mini catalog, and also what's in our current annual catalog. Uh, things, I mean, like I said, some things are going to carry over, some things are going to end up retiring. So everything as far as stamp sets that are in that red rubber cling, that's going away. Stampin' Up is doing because of issues on getting the materials. They decided that now all the stamp sets are going to be photopolymer. So those are going to go away. Um, there are like, of course, there's going to be like dies, things that may not have sold, you know, very well. I will tell you that in the annual catalog, one of the things that has now gone on a discontinue list because it completely like sold out is the Notes and Totes bundle. That was the one that kind of like had the big tote bag, and then you can add the stuff into it. So that is completely gone. So there are a few stamp sets that are actually gone now. So if there was anything that you were looking at that you were interested in, check that out. Also, there's the five in colors. What is it? Pretty in Pink, Peach Pie, Shy Shamrock, Summer Splash, and and Petunia Pop. Those are the five in colors that are going away. Uh, Everything in those colors is, well, I haven't looked this morning since I went on. They're available except for the reinkers in Pretty in Pink and Petunia Pop. So if you like the cardstock colors, the embellishments or whatever, I would suggest if you really like them and you want them, get it sooner rather than later because when we get to this point, it's like, there are things that at first, you didn't see that were on low inventory, and all of a sudden now they're gone. So, yeah, if there was anything between the online exclusives and the catalog, yeah, go and check that out. You can, if you go online to the online store, that's how you can see if it's still available or not. Now the catalog, we're not going to have an actual annual catalog. Instead, we're going to have 3 catalogs throughout the year. So, excuse me. So normally we have, the annual catalog that goes all year. And then there would be, throughout the year, there would be 2 mini catalogs. So one that's more like a holiday mini type of catalog, and then we have the like the January to April. So they're going to do away with those, and instead they're going to have 3 catalogs a year. So the first one's going to be our May through August, and then it'll be September through December, and then January to April. And so these catalogs, they're going to have, like, your staple stuff, your cardstock, your inks, your paper and stuff. And there's going to be some things that, they'll carry over into another catalog. And then there's times that, excuse me, I am so sorry. There's going to be items that'll end up with the online exclusive. So there's going to be product in all different places between a catalog and online. And of course, to keep track of it is, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not easy. So, but yeah, check out the website. If there was something that you like, that's how you're going to tell if whether or not, if it's still available, and, what the inventory status is. Is it good? Does it say low inventory? Or when you do the search, is it not going to come up at all? Okay, so we colored in our bunny with our uh, light and dark crumb cake. And then I'm going to take my light lemon lime twist, and we'll color in the rest of his rain jacket. Okay, now I'm going to bring in the dark again, because for some reason you don't really see the dark too much. Okay. And then my light flirty flamingo, I'm going to use that to do the inside of his ears, and then his nose. Okay. All right. And then let's get this out of the way. And let's bring in our panel here. I'm going to take my bunny. I'm going to add some dimensionals to him. So put one there. And then we'll take a smaller one. We'll put that on that ear. Okay, and then we'll take our bunny and place him right there. Okay, now for this part here, we're going to bring in our loose daisies. I'll put some in there. And then I'm going to take a drop of glue. So like I said, when you die cut this, you're going to see embossed in there, there are these like stem lines. So I'm going to add a drop of glue to the top of those lines. Okay, and then we're going to add a flower to the top of each of those. All right, so let's take a large white one, put that there, and oops, a large yellow one, put that right there. And let's see, take a medium one. Said there's like some small ones in here too. They say that it's just they're 5mm in size, but there are definitely some different sizes in here. Oops, where'd that go? Okay, and then one more. Okay, there we go. Press those down. We'll put our thing back together again. Dump these back in. Close it up. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in my card base here. And I'm also going to bring in my liquid glue. So now we're going to take the left side of our panel and we're going to adhere that to this flap here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and kind of eyeball it to where I want it. Okay, that looks good. Now I'm going to take my fingers and I'm going to place it right in this spot here where the folded edge of my flap is. And I'm going to hold my card like this. And when I turn it over and I go to add my liquid glue, I'm going to go from across here where my fingers are up to the top here. So then that way, when I go to put this down, I'm only getting glue on this part. We don't want the glue to be on that part because we want to be able to open our card. Okay, and bring the card back in and kind of line up my fingers there. And then we're going to press that down. So that's all pressed down. All right. So there is our second card. So you got a lot of Mango Melody on here. So a bright cherry color. So there we go. There is our second card. Let's bring in our first card again. This one, you bringing in the cloud cover. That works very well with the color, with that shade of balmy blue and the gray in the designer series paper. And again, what makes it a specialty paper is that you can see like this glossy embossing that is on the images. All right, So there are my two cards with the Rain or Shine suite of product. Um, Again, I apologize. This is not Thursday in which it's being posted. It is Saturday morning. Um, I will be going live tonight. Again, this is Saturday, March 28th. I didn't do my Friday night live, so instead it's going to be a Saturday night live. I will be here at 6 p.m. Central Time, and we're going to do some Easter. I'm going to feature the Easter Joy suite of product. So if you love the bunnies and the chicks, that's what I'm going to be working with tonight. And I'll even have my sparkly bunny ears on as well. And then also with my this Saturday night live, I also do a card drawing at the very end where you could win one of the cards that I have made. So with that, again, in the description, there are a couple links of stuff. We do have our product of the month. When you spend $75, after applying any of your discounts and before the tax and shipping, you can add that product of the month for $5. You do physically have to add it to your card. It's not automatically added. So right now we still have what do we have? We have, oh, what is it? I can't think of remember names for the life of me on things. There's just so much product. So right now for the month of March, there's the Notes of Spring photopolymer stamp set that's still available. And then there's also the Painted Illusions 12 by 12 designer series paper. I think that's still available as well. Coming up next month, we already had like a sneak peek of what's coming. So there's actually going to be a die. So kind of like a die that creates a background for your card base or a cardstock piece. So that is coming up in April. Again, we're going to have our annual catalog is going to end on May 4th, along with our January to April catalog. Again, things at this point are while supplies last, some things are going to carry over, and we are going to have three catalogs instead of, the annual and then the two minis. So with the new catalog from May to August, if you are not working with another demonstrator, you're here in the US and you would like a copy of that, my email is in a couple of places here in the description. Just send me an email with your first and your last name, along with your mailing address. And then when I get the catalogs, I will be more than happy to mail one out to you. Also in there is, I do have a newsletter, a monthly newsletter that I do. Those usually go out like the first Tuesday of every month. In my newsletter, the first thing that's on there, I do have a video schedule of what I'm going to be using for that month. So my Throwback Thursday, my Friday Night Lives, I do a monthly Christmas card inspiration. Also, I do a paper pumpkin. So there's a video schedule as to what I'm going to use on those particular days. Anything that I have going on here in the studio, any promotions or anything that Stampin' Up has, I put that out there. Every month, Stampin' Up comes out with 2 to 3 new kits in their kits collection. So I have pictures and descriptions of that. So there's quite a bit that's in my newsletter. And again, I only usually send one out near the beginning of the month. The only time I send any more, they're kind of modified, and that's if there's some special promotion that Stampin' Up! May be doing that I wasn't aware of, that we were not aware of at the beginning of the month. So again, if you would like to receive that, there is a link. You click on that link, you just add your first and last name and your email address, and then you're added on list, and then when I go to send it out, you will receive it. And I think that is all that I have for this video. So again, thank you so much for taking the time to stop by. If you like the projects, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you like these projects, and again, I got lots of videos out there. I think I got like 357 or 358 with this one out there. Lots of video content. If you like what you see, consider subscribing to the channel and then clicking that little notification bell to let you know when I'm either posting a video or when I go live. Um, Likes, shares, subscribing, all that stuff, and commenting. All of that helps with growing my YouTube channel. It also gets these videos out there to other paper crafters that, and card makers. And it helps with building my Stampin' Up! Business as well. So that's all I have for this one. Hope to see you later on when I do Easter Joy. And everyone, I'll see you later and have a blessed one. Bye bye.